Hello, Leo. The Sun is square Jupiter on the 4th, and on the 6th, the Sun is trine Pluto. Leos down under are experiencing a bit of a breather. They can take a moment to relax and rest and recuperate, just a moment, for them to be able to enjoy the fruits of their hard work and their labor, while Leos in the northern hemisphere are feeling a little friskier, a little more comfortable. Now, let's see how your ruling planet of the Sun affects you this month, Leo. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Leo angel Virtuel, who resides over your fixed fire nature. And these are his messages for you in love, money, and health. First, the most important, of course, the love transmission. Your guardian angel is the angel who resides over fire, which is Michael or Michael, and he comes with his influence specifically to you, Leo, through your teaching angel of Virtuel for your specific aspect of fixed fire. Now, this month in the love arena, you're going to be affected by, there's a full moon in on the 3rd, there's a full moon on the 3rd in Scorpio. That's going to cause creative urges, creative cravings, if you will, yearning to utilize your creativity. It's not that Leo wants to be creative, because Leo is creative, because fire signs are very creative. All the fire signs are. But Leo wants to express and utilize these creative aspects a little more. So you're going to feel that again around the 3rd. And remember, when the angel strikes and causes like if you throw a stone in the water, that's the time on the 3rd that, like an event happens. However, time is like the ripples, and it goes out in a spherical fashion, and that's just in the 3D realm. There's even the other dimensions where all kinds of things happen. That's why there's a chaos theory, the butterfly effect, if you will, because of all the effects from different dimensions. But before we get too much into that, what we're talking about is these things can occur a little bit before and a little bit after this sort of time imprint where these celestial events occur. And of course, when it's not on the exact time of when the angel strikes and tells something to occur, when it's not exactly at that time, it's going to be less severe. So if you want something to happen on a certain day, it will. You can be sure of that. But you have to be willing to take how sharp it may be, depending on the aspect that you're getting. So that's why if you're not getting something on an exact time, it's because you're not wanting it to be so intense. So you're causing yourself to have a delay, if you will, so that it will be less intense. But you can be certain it happens. But it sort of allows you to jump in and out of where you might want to experience, how much intensity you might want to have in these events. So that there's been some debate on that. That should clear that up. Now, on the 6th of May, there is a Sun trine Pluto aspect that pretty much causes the deep recesses of the unconscious mind to become illuminated and enlightened. And this is all the aspects of ourselves where we find parts of ourselves we didn't know we had. Now, Leo, you're strong, and you're also very honest with yourself, so you know pretty much what you're made of. And when you find new aspects of yourself that might be a little astonishing to you, or something that you really didn't think you would like about yourself, when you find those aspects, just understand that you're strong enough and intelligent and honest enough to handle that and turn it to good and make it be more of a strength that you can utilize. It's another tool in your toolbox, so to speak, when you find another aspect of yourself. Because in the Zohar, for example, it states that as the light shines on us from the Creator, what happens is we find more and more and more forms and more aspects of ourselves. So there's always more, and you're going to be finding more things you didn't know were there before. It's like finding a new flower species or a new animal species or something to that effect. And it's not just refinding what was already there that you knew about, or in the past, what we call the past, what you already knew about. New things that you've never even thought could occur. That's the difference. Things you never thought could occur and are outside the pattern of what the logical, mundane, boring brain thinks is possible. There's always shocks and astounding moments to the part of the brain that's logical. And that's what makes it fun. Those are some of your aha moments. And when you don't understand, according to the Zohar, that's when you really are actually there, because then you put in the effort to search. When you understand, you sit back and go, I got it all figured out. You don't search anymore. You don't put in the effort. And then that's not when you're there, because there's no connection. Whereas when you're searching and you're not understanding, you're making an effort and you're trying to connect. It's in the connection, in our relationships, that we find divinity, that we find God. We do not find God in any one solitary, isolated aspect. The more isolated we become, the more we might find ourselves in the cold, barren wasteland of the goddess Hel, H-E-L, the goddess of the cold underworld. That's where the word hell comes from. So enough with that aspect. All right, now that's the Plutonian Pluto aspect. Mother's Day is on the 10th, so be good to your mom. On the 17th, there's a new moon in Taurus. Now, what's that going to do? The new moon in Taurus, it sort of backs off the divine tone I have or having. And what it does is it causes, since we have a damper put on that a little bit, that aspect a little bit, it causes the working class to become more popular again. And it causes working class people and working class mores and just ways of doing things. It causes that to become not only tolerated, but preferable. And again, once it comes back into fashion or comes back into style once again. So you can look forward to that. That's on the 17th. Now there's a Sun opposing Saturn on the 23rd. And that's going to cause what people want to do, who people want to get involved with, and who people should get involved with, like people that are already engaged or married or whatnot. That's going to cause there to be just a bit of, a clash between these two aspects of the self, where you want to do something, but maybe you shouldn't do something, like the strength versus the justice. You understand what you want to do, your will, your friendly, harmonious will versus what you should do. And that's going to be in an 180-degree opposition on May 23rd. So just go ahead and do what you think is right and what is healthy. Not what makes you feel good, but what makes you feel well and healthy. Oppositions are just 180 degrees. I'm not talking about specific to this location or that location. I'm just talking about basics here. All right. Now, the money transmission. On the 4th, from Virgil, on the 4th, the Sun square Jupiter. When the Sun is square Jupiter, there's going to be conflicts between people who are in control or authority figures, like politicians or people who are bosses or people who are heads of families, parents, people who are in charge, fighting against not their subordinates, but fighting with each other. So that is a day, but luckily, this is going to be more of a fair contest, because when you have square aspects, it's these 90-degree aspects, it's more fair. It's because it's more of a contest that's regulated. Whereas when it's directly opposing you and you're drawing a line in the sand because of fear, because something exactly the opposite from you, then that causes people to become frightened, and then they become overly aggressive, yada yada. When things are a little bit view askew, it's not so frightening. And so then people are able to be more fair, and it's also more regulated. That's on the 4th. And it has Leos, and that might go into some kind of contest with, of course, Sagittarius or Pisces. Both have Jupiter rulers, yeah? All right, now, on the 30th, when we have Sun trine Ceres, people are going to be, especially Leos, are going to be schmoozing mom or the maternal side of the family. Because on the 30th, that gives Leo another opportunity to schmooze maternal figures. Now, that happens enough on the 10th with Mother's Day, but then again, because of this aspect, because it's trine, it's a schmoozing, not just to butter somebody up, it's actually an alliance. So the word schmooze is just to make it funny. But actually it's an alliance, where it's like thick as thieves, so to speak, when you have this Sun trine Ceres on the 30th of May. And again, the same month as Mother's Day. The Sun is going to ingress into Gemini on the 21st of May. That will cause the mental thinking, intellectualizing aspects of the will and of Leos to not overthink, but more think how harmony can be made, almost to a point of overbearing harmony, where some people enjoy fighting, I suppose. But so there might be really overbearing, harmonious influences from Leos with ideas and new ways of thinking that will assist everybody to get along. And that is when the Sun's ingress into Gemini begins on the 21st. The journey of the Sun through, into the gates of Gemini and through. During that time is when Leo's harmonious aspect will be very helpful to the larger thinking and intellectual world in general, especially to intellectuals, but also imaginative people, because imagination is the first aspect of creation. Okay, now for the health transmission from Virchiel, the Sun square Jupiter on the 4th. That could put some extra tension on the upper back or the heart. And because it's a square, it's not so bad, but just be mindful of that. Have a bit of a heads up on that. On the 6th, the Sun trine Pluto. This facet could cause a lovely and wonderful healing of the reproductive organs of Leos. So that's something that could be very helpful and beneficial to you, Leo. And as the Sun ingresses through Gemini, for health, you're going to find that the mind is going to become very clear, and the imagination is going to have ideas that, again, are well thought out in a harmonious fashion rather than an overthinking fashion. When the Sun opposes Saturn on the 23rd, at this time, you might find that Leo's what Leo wants to do, to play and have a little bit more fun, And what Leo should do with discipline could come into conflict. Leo should do what is right and stick with disciplines and stay healthy. But all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So, what you need to do, Leo, is understand that it's not responsible to work yourself into a state where you're not functioning well. You have to schedule in days off or take days off or fun times, because if you don't, then you'll be not able to perform properly. And at that time, you're going to have a problem with feeling that you're being irresponsible, because you like to be responsible. You're a very responsible person. So make sure you indulge yourself a little so you can be in top performing shape. Okay, May 30th, Sun conjunct Mercury. Plus on the 30th, there's a Sun trine Ceres. And with those aspects, on the 30th, when Sun is conjunct Mercury, again, that's going to be very good for your mental capabilities and healing of the mind and the will. And the Sun trine Ceres on that same day is going to assist you in case you're thinking that you want to, if having children is your life path, that would be a very good day to look into that. All right? Childbearing. On the 31st, Sun square Neptune. This is a day when you need to maybe have a successful cleanse of the lymphatic system, and it'd be good to speak to your favorite naturopathic or homeopathic physician or licensed acupuncturist. All right. Now, for your afterglow, Leo, these are just some facets that we're going to highlight for you that we think we've gone over. We're just going to highlight them, run them down here so you can just be mindful of them. These are the ones we think are helpful. On May 4th, Sun square Jupiter. On May 6th, Sun trine Pluto. On May 21st, Sun's ingress into Gemini. On May 23rd, Sun opposing Saturn. On May 30th, Sun conjunct Mercury. On May 30th, also, the Sun trine the Great Divine Mother, Ceres. And on May 31st, Sun square Neptune. When the Sun is square Neptune, this can also cause you to think about, again, a contest, maybe kind of friendly competition with people that you haven't seen in quite a while. But Leo is a friendly sign, so you enjoy that, Leo, don't you? All right. Thank you for joining us, Leo. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel, and join us again next month.